welcome to another episode of the podcast. As always, I'm Shane Lohman. We have a big week this week, lots of stuff to go over, some cool events, cool releases, a couple of breweries we're launching, one this week, one next week, so we'll get to all that. Just finished up watching the first day of the NCAA tournament, first couple games, first four I think they call it. Wanted to give a quick Fran Dunphy story. So Fran Dunphy is the head coach at Temple. This was his last year. He's been a head coach in Philadelphia. He was at Pennsylvania University, Penn, for 17 years. Now at Temple for the last 13. Great coach, bunch of games. This is his last game, I believe. It's his last game at Temple. It looks like it's going to be the last game of his career. Not sure if he's going to coach anywhere else or not. But a quick Fran Dunphy story. When I was a manager at Duquesne, I think it was 2010, 2011, right after I turned 21. It was the year that Penn State was playing in the Rose Bowl, and I had to open the arena at Duquesne for Temple to practice the night that the Rose Bowl was on. I remember setting up practice, putting the balls out, doing all my usual stuff, and Coach Dunphy walks up to me and, came over, shook my hand, thanked me, which was real nice, and then pulled a $20 bill out of his pocket and slipped it into my hand. I said, "Coach, I can't take that." And he's like, No, come on, just, I know the Rose Bowl's on, you're a college kid, take it. I said, "Coach, man, I can't take this." He said, "Listen, man, you're going to take this $20 bill and you're going to go buy yourself a 30-pack of beer and watch the Rose Bowl, or I'm going to tell your coach you're the biggest asshole in the world." So I took the 20, bought myself some beer for me and my buddies, and just a quick story about what a cool guy he was, what a great guy he was, just aside from being a great coach, and really just the little things that you can do for people that go a long way. So sad to see him losing the first game, but just wanted to give a quick story. Real big fan of Fran Dunphy. But anyway, let's get into the stuff we got going for beer this week. Like I said, lots of great stuff coming over the next month or so. More specifically this week, we've got lots of new releases to talk about, some great events coming up to release those products and to release a couple of other things. Next week, I've got a brewery to announce tonight. You're going to get a little sneak peek. We're not announcing it officially on social media until Thursday. We're going to announce that here in a little bit on the podcast tonight. You're going to get a little sneak peek to the one we're launching this week. And then next week, we have another brewery we're launching as well. So like I said, a big couple of weeks coming up here. Exciting stuff. Always trying to keep it rolling here. First thing I want to mention this week, we have a few Maine Dinner kegs that are floating around town. We got big hookup from Maine Beer Company. We've been distributing their stuff, I want to say 3 or 4 months now, but obviously really incredible beer, really high quality IPAs. I mean, high quality across the board, but especially their IPAs. We've had lunch in the market a couple of times in draft, once or twice, I believe, in bottles. We've been thrilled to be able to get their stuff here in Pittsburgh. I know a lot of you guys have been thrilled to be able to drink it. So we're really excited to be able to get really just a handful of dinner kegs. Anything we could get was a huge bonus here, but those are floating around town now. I don't believe, we're recording this Tuesday night, I don't believe any have been tapped yet. We're going to do the best we can to keep everybody updated on our social media. We'll get to the social media in general in a little bit here, but we're going to do the best we can to keep everybody updated on social media about where you can get these dinner kegs, because obviously they're probably not going to last long. Let me tell you something. I'm as excited to get out and drink them as you are, and to try and get a crack at drinking one. I know there's one at Federal Galley, along with a lunch keg. This stuff's all real fresh, all within 2 to 3 weeks from being brewed. Cold shipped. We take care of our products here at Steel City. Cold shipped from Maine to keep the integrity of the product. So we got fresh, cold shipped dinner and lunch. I believe there's another one IPA that are floating around as well. But Federal Galley has a dinner keg. That should go on in the next day or two. So look for that to go on Wednesday, Thursday, to the best of my knowledge. That's the first place we can look. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. That's the first place we can look. Piper's Pub in the South Side, I believe as well in the next couple of days we'll put one on. Try and keep that one updated. Excuse me. Trying to think who else has one here. The Commoner, downtown, in the basement of the Hotel Monaco. If you like craft beer and you haven't been to the Commoner, first of all, amazing craft beer bar. Just amazing bar in general for these purposes. Amazing craft beer bar. Great selection. So that's will be on there. I think lunch is on now. The dinner should be on tomorrow. That should be on Wednesday, at the latest Thursday, I would think. We are going to do a release for one of the dinner kegs at, I want to say, Summit. 5 p.m. Sunday, we are going to have a release. They're going to be tapping Maine Dinner, Maine Lunch, and a couple of other things. We'll get to that event now, I guess. So also this week, we're going to be releasing the Prairie Apple Brandy Barrel Noir. We got a very, very select few cases in of that. As you may have seen on my and our social media today, that will be releasing at 5 p.m. at Summit, as well as the brand new Prairie O Fudge, which is their Imperial Stout brewed with brownies. That will be releasing in bottles and draft this Friday, going into the weekend. That will be available at Summit. So quick overall rundown of what will be available at Summit. 5 p.m. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, we're going to have Maine Lunch on tap. We're going to have Maine Dinner on tap. We're going to have Prairie Apple Brandy Barrel Noir in 12-ounce bottles. We are going to have Prairie O Fudge in 12-ounce bottles. We are actually going to have Prairie Bible Belt, the Prairie Evil Twin Bible Belt collaboration. Got a select few kegs of that. That is going to be on tap. You'll see some stuff on social media promoting this event coming up, probably starting tomorrow. But if you're looking for some good stuff, make sure and come down, or I guess come up to the Summit Sunday at 5. That's going to be a fun event. So that's a place you can find Maine Dinner. If you're out east a little bit, I know that Three Rivers Six Pack is getting a keg of it. That should be on this weekend, early next week. I'm not sure. I know there was Whole Foods next Friday at 5. So not this coming, or it is this coming Friday, excuse me. You know what? Let me double check that. Now I have to double check. I don't trust myself on this event. But I know Whole Foods up in Wexford is going to get a couple of kegs. That's going to be Friday the 22nd at 5 p.m. They're tapping that there. I think there's one or two other ones floating around town. Like I said, we're going to try and do our best to keep you updated on social media. So that's the first big thing this week. Maine Dinner. There's a few kegs of those, so look for that. Like I just mentioned with this Summit event, the Prairie Apple Brandy Barrel Noir is now, we got a few of those in bottles. The other place that you're going to be able to get that early on is Liberty Beer. Liberty Beer at noon on Friday is going to release the Prairie Apple Brandy Noir. They're also going to release a cup. The O Fudge will be there as well. They're going to release a couple of other Prairie bottles that they have stashed. I actually don't know quite what they are, but I'm guessing there's some goodies. But those have been stashed for a while from Liberty Beer. If we can get a sneak peek at what they have, we'll post that on social media. That should be fun. That's going to be a release Friday at noon. That's one of the first places to get that. There'll be a real limited amount of the Apple Brandy Barrel Noir. I know a case is going to make it out to Greensburg. We'll see where else it's going to go. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then the last thing, like I said, from Prairie is the O Fudge Imperial Stout with brownies. That's going to be released at Liberty Beer. That'll be a little bit more plentiful. That should be around town. Any of your favorite craft beer locations, beer distributors, bars that usually carry Prairie should be able to get that one. That's going to be on draft at a few places as well. Then the one other thing to note from Prairie this week, the Blueberry Boyfriend, which is their blueberry sour. The Vape Tricks is a really good sour. The Blueberry is going to be available this week as well. So lots of good new stuff from Prairie. Kind of mentioned the social media a little bit. We always, we keep a pretty good presence on social media. We like to interact. So if you've ever got questions, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, great places to get in touch with us. Great places to keep up with releases, new products coming out, events. So, overall our social media presence has been pretty decent. But over the next couple of weeks and moving forward, you're really going to see us make a much bigger effort on our social media, myself personally on my social media, just overall make a lot bigger and better effort and kind of take things to the next level to keep everyone in the loop as much as possible. Like I said, it's always been decent. I've gotten a lot of questions. I know we posted on the Steel City Instagram story a picture of the dinner kegs, and a lot of people have been asking about where they can look to find it. We do some great release events. We have some great accounts and some great people that support us and our great products. We want to promote that as much as possible. So just in general, you're going to be seeing a lot more live photo and video content at some of these events. We're going to be taking videos, talking to people, just putting a lot of content up from that, and also stuff from just behind the scenes, our drivers, delivery, just kind of give you a better look at what's going on day to day. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Really, just take that customer interaction to the next level, and just have some fun with it, which is really the point. So, look for a real improvement in our social media the next couple of weeks. Feel free to also reach out with your feedback. Good, bad, things you would like to see us do, things we should stop doing, anything like that. We're always open to your feedback, as long as you're nice. Don't be rude, because that's really annoying. But we're really going to ramp that up. That'll be starting with probably the Liberty Beer and Summit events this weekend. So, yeah, like I said, open to feedback there. Don't forget, Liberty Beer release noon Friday, bunch of Prairie stuff, and Summit Sunday 5 p.m. Main lunch, Maine dinner, Prairie. Other big announcement this week, and you're kind of getting a sneak peek here, like I said, with this brewery announcement, is Gun Hill Brewing. Gun Hill Brewery out of the Bronx in New York. New brewery we brought in. We'll get to a little bit about them in a second. Really want to start off with kind of the reasoning behind why we signed them and wanted to bring them to the market. There's just so much great beer being made in New York City right now. There's a lot of great beer being made in Pittsburgh, a lot of great beer being made in Philly, some great beer being made in Ohio, and then New York City. Just some hotbeds, and we've had some success, obviously, with a lot of great breweries out of New York thus far, and it's just a place where there's a lot of great beer being made, and kind of with that theme, we like to keep a selective portfolio. We want to make sure we're bringing in not only really quality liquid, I mean, that's our first priority, but great branding. We want to make sure we're working with great people that we get along with, people that we really have a good relationship with. We kind of saw all of that in Gun Hill, and really thought that they'd make a great addition to the portfolio. So we are going to be launching them this weekend. You're going to start to see them out and about Friday. We are kind of finalizing a couple of the events, the bigger events that we're going to do to launch that this weekend. So again, Wednesday into Thursday, keep an eye on our social media to see where you can go to get some of that. The nice part about this is, I know some of the breweries we launch, we bring in, we're only able to bring stuff in draft to start out. We are going to be bringing in some Gun Hill cans for launch. Kind of a rundown of what we're bringing in here. We got 4 different beers, I believe, to launch. Let me see what we have. So the first one is Void of Light Stout. That one's going to be a draft option. That one is cocoa, espresso aroma, and flavor derived from roasted barley with the complexity is enhanced by the strength of this foreign style stout. That's going to be a 7.9% stout, so that one will be available on draft early on. And then we have the Rise Up Rye, which is also going to be available on draft. This is actually a really cool one. It was a collaboration with the cast of the Broadway show Hamilton. New York grown hops. Excuse me. That one's going to be available on draft to start off. And then we are going to have the Earth Intruders. Earth Intruders is going to be case only to start, but this one's going to be in 16-ounce cans. This is a pastry stout, imperial stout brewed with chocolate, coffee, molasses, brown sugar, and lactose. That one will be available in 16-ounce cans. And then the final one we're going to have is Vanity Plate, a New England IPA with 2 different dry hop additions that billow tropical fruit, succulent citrus, and herbal aromas, juicy mango, pineapple, along with zesty grapefruit, and herbaceous pine rain on the tongue. Wow, that was pretty good by me. Citra, Mosaic, and Centennial hops. This one clocks in at 7%. Nice one here is it's going to be available on draft and in cans as well. We didn't get a ton of this one to start in the cans, but you will see it sprinkled around at some of the better accounts. JR, Save More, Duffy's Beer, Liberty Beer. I would guess, we'll finalize this in the next day or two, but I would guess that Liberty Beer is going to have this as a release as well at that noon event on Friday. Again, we'll confirm that in the next day or two. But if I had to guess, that will be there for that release as well. Really excited to have Gun Hill coming in. I think, like I said, it's going to be a really solid addition to our portfolio. And it's really nice to be able to bring in cans and draft for launch. I would say, excuse me, this one you'll probably see more of when and where you can get it hitting Thursday, but as soon as we start to finalize some of these things, you'll be seeing it on our social media, of course. Should have some cool events for this one. Yeah, and again, we're really excited. We're always looking. I've had a couple of people reach out to me lately on, I believe via email. You can always email into the site. I get those emails directly. I think it's info@steelcitybeerwholesalers.com, or there's a contact form on our website. If there's a product from one of our current breweries that we're not bringing in, if there is a brewery that you would like to see that's not here, obviously sometimes that's out of our control due to supply issues, due to the brewery just having a different strategy and not necessarily wanting to come to this market. But I've said this before, if there's something that's not here that you want to see here, feel free to reach out. Everything we do is driven by what you guys love to drink, driven by your support, and we want, not only do we want you to feel like you're a part of this process, but you are a part of this process. This is a very consumer-driven industry, and we like to be as connected as possible. So if there's something you want to see here, reach out. Email, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anything. We've landed a couple of our better breweries like that. So feel free to reach out because we're always looking to grow. Like I said, we're going to have another one that we're going to announce next week. We got to space these out a little bit. But no, we're always open to suggestions. This is one that I had actually heard about through someone in the industry, not through someone emailing in. But little things like that can make a big difference, so feel free to reach out. Gun Hill is in the Bronx, in New York. And, we've really made a focus on going after some regional breweries. Like I said, there's some great markets or great cities with brewing culture in the immediate region here. Like I said, Philly, obviously, goes without saying that we've got some incredible stuff here in Pittsburgh. But Ohio, Philly, New York, we've had some great luck with breweries in that area, in those areas. So there are places we've really mined. But if there's stuff we're missing, let us know because we're always looking. A couple of the other things we're releasing this week, Graph Cider, again, New York, Hudson Valley, but still New York. We're going to have some cool new stuff coming from Graph Cidery. Some really cool, different, unique ciders. Not only high-end, but some really just quality, unique flavors that kind of take cider to the next level and then some. So look for some of their new stuff. We'll be posting that towards the end of the week to show you what's coming in. And then we also have, basically every week we're getting fresh stuff from Single Cut. The nice part is we've been able to zone in the brewing and packaging schedules with our freight schedules into our release schedules. So a lot of times we've been starting to have some Fresh Beer Friday events at distributors. They're bigger for cans because you can see the date right there and we can kind of promote how fresh the stuff is. But when you're getting a Single Cut, there's a pretty darn good chance that if you're drinking a Single Cut on draft, it was brewed in the last couple of weeks. And then when we get cans coming in, if you're getting the new Single Cut that's released this week, it was brewed there's a 90% chance it was brewed like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of that week. And we make a huge effort to stay very agile logistically and be able to get that to accounts on Friday. So we've been doing some Fresh Beer Fridays. We're going to let this kind of grow organically. We're having some accounts that are having some success with it, but just kind of let this one grow a little bit more organically. Point being, every week we have fresh new Single Cut stuff coming in. So keep an eye out for that. This week, I'm not 100% sure yet what we're getting. I think it's still on the way here. Just had some new 18 watt that hit the market in draft. We're going to be having some cans of 18 watt coming in fresh this week. That's been doing really, really well for us. Kind of one of my favorite fridge IPAs at this point. And then we're getting Double Whammy, which is a double dry hopped Imperial IPA, as well as Full Stack, which is an Imperial IPA. Those cans will be hitting this week. As I said, super fresh. And I believe we're getting some Kim Hibiscus Sour Lager, along with some new package, the 18 watt. So some really good stuff coming from Single Cut this week in package. We're doing I know in the next couple of weeks here we have a Single Cut event coming up at Whole Foods in the South Hills. We actually have a keg. It was one of the only kegs we were able to get of the Double Whammy. So keep an eye out on social media for that one. we will be updating that event. That's definitely a keg worth tracking down. But we've got some good draft coming in, some good single cut coming in. We've got a real New York bias to the portfolio this week in terms of what we're releasing. But swinging back to Gun Hill real quick, we're really, really excited to be launching them. Really excited to get your response. Listen, feel free to give us feedback too on the beer itself. Which ones you like, what you don't like. I mean, I'm pretty darn confident in this one. Like I said, we're very selective with the breweries that we bring in. We don't just bring in anything. I'm pretty darn confident that you guys are really going to like this one. But we love to hear your feedback because that kind of molds to a large extent what we do and how we operate and how we move forward. So feel free to reach out on that, on social media with that as well. But overall, just a big couple of weeks coming up here. Just hitting with some big-time products this week. Oh Fudge, Apple Brandy Barrel Noir from Prairie. They do Imperial Stouts really well. They do a lot of stuff really well, but their Imperial Stouts, I mean, just world-class. I don't know what's beyond world-class, but I don't know if world-class even does it justice. Just some really, really high-level stuff from Prairie. Coming with the Maine Dinner. I haven't tried it yet. I'm extremely excited to get out and try it, so that one will be big. Listen, if you're not doing anything Sunday, come up to the summit. Most of our team's going to be there hanging out. Come up, talk to us. We'll buy you a beer. We'll have some glassware to give away, probably some koozies and some stickers. And it's just a good time. It'll be a fun time to hang out. Not a bad way to spend your Sunday night. And it's going to be a pretty darn good chance to try some Maine Dinner. So come up, hang out. Maybe we'll even get in our video, get on social media. Really trying to get over... it's always kind of weird to me when you see someone walking around and they're like, I think a month or two ago at Federal Galley, I saw Juju Smith and they were filming a video and he had like 4 guys around him and it was weird because he was just walking through like public light, like a public setting, and it's kind of weird seeing it, made like that. But then when you see it online, it's awesome. So it's kind of a new frontier almost for us, but we're really excited about it. I think it's going to make the interaction, as I said, that much better and kind of keep you up to date with everything. So if you want to come see us giving it our first run doing that, another good reason to come up to Summit on Sunday at 5, Beyond the Good Beer. I think that's about all we have for this week. Don't want to get too in-depth with the stories or anything. Like I said, stay tuned for the next episode next week because we will be announcing another brewery. I'll probably start announcing when we have big releases or events or breweries to announce. I'll probably start announcing them on the podcast like a day or so, maybe a day or two before they hit social media, just to give you an extra reason to tune in. Other than that, stay tuned. Bunch of good news next week coming as well. And we've got some really good stuff that's coming down the line. We've got some new Hoof-Hearted that'll be coming in, I believe, in a week or so. Some new Nightmare stuff. We'll get into that later on next week. And one other thing I did want to mention, Abomination Brewery. We got 16-ounce cans and a couple limited amount of kegs in from them. But their newest release was White Stouts Can't Jump. Let me see if I can bring up the info on that one real quick. This was one we weren't able to get a lot of on draft, but we have a decent bit of cans. Again, anywhere you usually go that has a pretty good selection of craft beer, they should have this one available. This was actually, I got to try this last week. I've only tried a couple of white stouts, and I've really liked them. I'm still, I know what to expect, but I'm still a little bit unsure going in. This one was really good. It's a white stout brewed with flaked oats, flaked wheat, golden promise, and lactose. Fermented on an insane amount of vanilla beans, cacao nibs, and locally roasted coffee beans, 9.3%. That one's going to be available. 16-ounce cans. I believe it should be 4-packs or singles when you see those. And then, like I said, there was a couple of kegs that got out. We'll try and post that as well. I know we've been doing a lot better just posting our beer in general on Twitter, just kegs and where stuff's topping, just everyday stuff. But like I said, we'll start to ramp up the other stuff going forward. Gonna try and keep it quick this week. If there's anything else, always feel free to reach out, like I keep saying. And appreciate you guys listening to the podcast always. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you.